What if I told you you could rewire how people feel about you without them even noticing? Sounds like a Jedi mind trick, right? But it's not fiction. It's raw psychology, used by CEOs behind closed doors, elite negotiators across tables worth millions, and charismatic leaders who command rooms without even raising their voices. These techniques aren't about manipulation. They're about understanding human nature at a level most people never reach. And when you do, you become untouchable. Today, I'm going to give you 5 psychology tricks that work like social gravity. People won't know why they're drawn to you, but they will be. These aren't gimmicks. They're built on science, tested in real-life situations, and subtle enough to fly under the radar. But pay attention, because if you miss how to apply them, they won't work. And the 4th one? That's not just a trick. It's a shift in identity. It flips how people treat you for good. Let's get into it. Ever met someone who made you feel like they just got you? Like they were tuned into your frequency before you even finished your sentence? They probably used the echo effect. It's not magic. It's repetition, but done strategically. Here's how it works. When someone uses a phrase and you reflect that exact phrase back to them, not just the meaning, but the words, it triggers something in their brain called implicit egotism. That's a real term, by the way, studied in psychological research from the University of Virginia. People associate positive feelings with things that resemble themselves, even their language. So, if someone says, "I'm looking for a partner who thinks long-term," and you say, "I'm all about long-term thinking," you're not being lazy. You're being smart. Their brain lights up. This person thinks like me. That's instant rapport. Let's make it real. Imagine you're meeting a new client. They say, "I want someone who can keep things efficient and drama-free." You say, "Efficiency and zero drama is exactly how I operate." No fluff, no over-explanation, just mirroring their values word for word. That moment of recognition, that's the buy-in. People want to feel seen. So give them their own language back, and you'll feel like someone who's been in their circle forever. Now, let's talk about something most people get painfully wrong. The 2-second rule. When someone asks a question, what do most people do? They rush. They speak fast. They panic answer, like it's a quiz show, and they're about to get buzzed out. But power doesn't rush. Power pauses. Here's the technique. Wait 2 seconds before responding. That's it. It feels weird at first, awkward even. But that pause creates tension. It gives the impression that you think before you speak, that you're not just reacting, you're choosing your words. Say someone asks, "So, what do you do?" Don't blurt out a resume title. Pause. Lock in eye contact. Then say, "I help people become the version of themselves they've been avoiding." Now, that's a conversation starter. This trick is subtle, but the results are loud. It's used by courtroom lawyers, elite interrogators, and even actors trained in method performance. Why? Because it makes people lean in. It shifts the spotlight onto your words before you've even said them. The silence isn't empty. It builds weight. It tells the room, "I don't need to impress you. I need you to listen." Now for one of the most underused power moves, the unfinished sentence. Sounds weird, right? But hear me out. When you leave a thought incomplete, the human brain has to finish it. It's called the Zeigarnik effect, a concept discovered by psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik, who found that people remember unfinished tasks better than completed ones. Apply that to communication, and you've got a psychological hook. Try this. Someone asks, "Why do you think most people never reach their potential?" Don't answer it straight. Say, "Because most people aren't failing, They're doing something far worse. And stop. That silence will drive them mad, in a good way. They'll need the rest of your thought. You've created mental tension, and now they're hooked. They're listening harder than before because their brain needs closure. This isn't just for dramatic effect. It's a proven storytelling technique. It's how top screenwriters keep audiences watching, how great comedians get people hanging on punchlines, and how powerful speakers keep their listeners on edge without ever raising their voice. If you master this, you control the room, without saying more, just saying less. And now, for the one-word flip. Ever been mocked, challenged, or subtly disrespected, and you didn't know how to shut it down without looking defensive? Here's the move. You say, "Really?" That's it. One word. Someone says, "Oh, wow, look at you trying to be all motivational with that smug grin." You don't argue. You don't laugh it off. You just say, "Really?" and tilt your head. What happens next is gold. Now they feel the pressure. They have to explain their sarcasm, justify their jab. Most of the time they'll backpedal because the spotlight's now on their insecurity, not yours. This trick works because it flips the burden of proof. In debates, in interviews, in everyday conversation, it's a silence grenade. No yelling, no ego, just pure psychological judo. Now, here's where it gets surgical. The final technique? The Inception method. This is where the real pros separate themselves. Instead of pushing your ideas onto people, which almost always gets resistance, you plant a question that leads them to discover the idea themselves. Now they own it, and people fight for their own ideas. Want your friend to quit smoking? Don't say, "You should quit." Say, "Have you noticed how much better your focus is when you haven't had a cigarette?" Now their brain does the rest. They start thinking of all the times they were clear-headed. They connect the dots, and suddenly, quitting seems like their idea, not yours. This technique is widely used in motivational interviewing by therapists, studied by the American Psychological Association, and is one of the core principles of influence taught in elite-level coaching. You're not forcing anyone. You're guiding them to conclusions they already half believe, but wouldn't admit until you nudge the door open. So now that you know these 5 techniques, what are you going to do with them? You could scroll to the next video, forget this ever happened, and go back to wondering why certain people seem to get all the respect, all the attention, and all the influence, while others are constantly overlooked. Or you can start applying this. Because the truth is, most people live their entire lives playing on the surface. They talk, but they're not heard. They try, but their efforts get ignored. And they never realize it's not about being louder. It's about being smarter with how you communicate. The echo effect makes people feel like you speak their language, because you do. The 2-second rule puts gravity in your words. People start seeing you as deliberate, thoughtful, worth listening to. The unfinished sentence keeps them hooked like a great thriller. You stop speaking, but their minds keep chasing your words. The one-word flip protects your energy, flips pressure onto others, and keeps you in control without even blinking. And the Inception method? That's next level. That's how you guide people without leading them by force. That's how movements are built. Let me ask you this. How different would your life be if people actually leaned in when you spoke? What would it feel like to walk into a room and know, not think, but know that people will remember you when you leave? Because here's the twist. People don't remember what you say. They remember how you made them feel. And these tricks? They change how people feel in your presence. They bypass the surface-level chatter and hit something deeper, something primal. You'll notice it in subtle ways. the way someone repeats your phrasing back to you, the extra second they take before interrupting you, the shift in body language when you pause before a sentence, the awkward silence after your "really" as they scramble to recover. The moment someone takes your question, turns it over in their mind, and starts believing they thought of it first. That's not random. That's mastery. But don't abuse it. Because when you play with psychology, you're playing with power. And power without control? That's just chaos in a suit. So use this to build. Use this to create space where people feel heard, seen, respected, and where you stop getting steamrolled by louder voices. Think of someone right now who always seems to command attention. Maybe they're not even that impressive, but people hang on their words. This isn't a coincidence. It's not luck. They either learned these tools on purpose or stumbled into them without knowing. Now, you know. And that means you've got no excuse. These aren't gimmicks. They're based on the kind of psychology studied in the top research labs, from Harvard's negotiation project to decades of behavioral science led by thinkers like Robert Cialdini and Daniel Kahneman. The difference between you and someone who owns the room is often just 5 small things done with purpose. You don't need more degrees. You don't need a louder voice. You just need to stop playing by the old rules. And one more thing, don't wait until you feel ready. These aren't skills you perfect before using, they're tools you sharpen by using them. So the next time you walk into a meeting, into a conversation, into a first impression, bring one of these tricks with you. Try mirroring someone's exact words. Try waiting 2 seconds before you answer. Try stopping mid-sentence and watching the suspense in their eyes. Try saying, "Really?" instead of explaining yourself. Try asking a better question instead of giving advice. And watch what happens. Watch how people change around you. Watch how your energy shifts. Watch how you start to feel like the most dangerous person in the room. Not because you dominate, but because you don't need to. And that's the kind of power no one can take from you. So, what's it going to be? Are you going to let this knowledge sit in your head like unused potential? Or are you going to test it, sharpen it, and use it to build the kind of presence people don't forget? The choice isn't just yours, it's your future's. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about unlocking what's already there, just buried under years of noise and hesitation. And if you're still here, you're not the average scroller. You're here because some part of you knows there's more to you than what people see. So show them. Apply one of these tricks today, just one, and see how fast people start responding to you differently. And when they do, don't act surprised. You were built for this. Now go prove it. And if you're hungry for more, this is just the beginning. You know where to find us.